everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm Tim Scott. This is ResortLoop.com, the gateway to the magic. Thrilled to be joined by Mr. David Poole. David, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's a Monday, but the weather is great out here. The wind is blowing.
Well, you're in California, so it's always great there, right?
Yes, absolutely. That's one of the main reasons to live here.
Well, David has been a friend of the show for a very long time. Love David. Have taken several group trips together, having a great time. But David, we're going to talk about a trip you took that was not a group trip, at least not yet.
No.
We're going to talk about you going to Japan.
Yes.
And to Tokyo Disneyland.
Absolutely.
So before we get into this, tell us, how long have you been a Disney fan? What's your Disney story?
Well, when you live about 30 minutes from Disneyland, you kind of grow up going there. It was something we went to for birthdays and special events and in the summertime. And my mother was a member. She worked for Xerox, and she was called a member of the Magic Kingdom Club, I think it was. And one of her jobs in HR was she was supposed to get all the Xerox employees to go to Disneyland. And once a year, she would be invited down to Disneyland and bring my brother and my dad and all the four of us would go. And for about 2 hours, she would have to leave and go to a meeting and hear all about the new stuff coming. So she would go tell all the employees. So we would probably go many times a year because of that. And then sometime, I think in the 90s, we got annual passes. And, it's just fun. It's when I was working, it was like on the way home. You could just stop by Disneyland for dinner. So.
Oh, that's left coast locals to the Disney parks.
Yes.
Oh, that's fantastic. All right, David. So this leads me to a question. At what point do you decide, you know what? I need to go across the Pacific. I need to go to Tokyo Disneyland.
It was probably in the springtime-ish of 2024. And I saw on the internet that Space Mountain was going to be closed and demolished. And that was going to happen at the end of July that summer. And even though I had already booked some trips, including the Alaska cruise that you booked us, which was the end of June into July that summer, I'm like, I need to go ride Space Mountain before they tear it down. So I just booked a trip to Tokyo Disneyland for 4 days and had a great time.
So what's involved in planning? Because Japan is one of those destinations I really can't help with a whole lot. They do things totally different over there, and it's not even actually the Walt Disney Company. It's that Oriental Land Company company. So
right.
How difficult was that? Because I tried to help you out where I could, and there was just everything had to be done better yourself.
What I ended up doing is I went online and you create an account and put the app on your phone, and then I started looking at packages. And it was very confusing to me. I could not figure out how to customize a package what I wanted. And what I ended up doing is booking a package at the middle hotel, because they had the fancy Disneyland hotel right in the park. And then they had some that were out closer to the water. But one that looked like middle range was called the Disney Ambassador Hotel.
Okay.
But I could only book a package that gave me 2 nights. It gave me 3 days in the parks, but only 2 nights.
That math doesn't work.
So I figured out, it didn't work for me. So I finally figured out how I booked that package, which gave me 3 days of park tickets, 2 nights, and then I booked a single night the night before and a single night the night after.
Okay. Same hotel?
Okay. Yeah, same hotel.
Okay.
And I was in the same room.
Fantastic.
I didn't move.
Fantastic.
When I checked in, they could see what I was doing, but it just had to be 3 separate transactions. So when I flew over, I had a long 12-hour flight from LAX, and I went overnight. So I arrived in the morning, like 6 in the morning.
Wow. Okay.
So I wasn't sure how I was going to be feeling. So I didn't book a park day that day. So my 3 park days that were included were the following 3 days in a row.
Okay.
Well, as it turns out, I got there and I was able to sleep pretty good on the plane. So I got there to Tokyo, Haneda Airport, and it wasn't too hard to find the ground transportation area. I got my suitcases. I got there. There were other people there waiting in to go to Walt Disney or to Tokyo Disney. And so we got in, and I had booked a ticket on the bus. And finally the bus pulled up and we got there. One of the funny things I thought about the buses was the bus left, picked us up, went to another terminal and picked up more people. And I thought, there's no room for any of these people. The bus is full. Well, you have a school bus and it's 2 seats on each side, however many rows, but the seats across the aisle had a little fold down seat. So they filled the aisle in with people sitting, single file.
Okay.
I'm like, I don't think codes would allow us to do that in America.
Probably not.
Anyways, so I got to the Disneyland Ambassador Hotel around 9 in the morning. I felt great. They took my luggage, and they sold me a ticket to Tokyo Disneyland right there at the hotel desk.
Okay.
So I bought a ticket, and it was like $60, and I went in, and that was my first day at Tokyo Disneyland.
Wow. So when you go into the park, how's it feel? Does it feel similar? Totally different? I can't imagine.
Well, I knew that Tokyo Disneyland was designed after the one in Anaheim that I go to.
Okay.
So I was kind of expecting the same thing. You go in down Main Street, Castle, to Tomorrowland to the right, etc., and all that. Well, the one thing that did get me is when you go through underneath the Disneyland Hotel, because they have a hotel right there, kind of like in Paris, that you walk under. They have Main Street, but it's enclosed. It's got a roof over it. So that was different.
That's right. Yes.
But then when I got through, I saw the castle, and I'm like, okay, I could do this. I know right where I am. Something else that was interesting was I saw all of these markings all over the sidewalks. And I'm like, what are all these markings? And I asked someone there, and they said, oh, those are your reserved spots to stand to see the parade go by.
Wow.
So you can reserve A52 next to A53, A54, where it's all marked on the sidewalks where you stand.
Wow. I can only imagine if it was here, you'd have to ask people to move off your spot.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
I had a good time. The package deal I received had, like I said, the 2 nights of hotel, the 3 park days, and then it came with all kinds of extra stuff that I didn't even notice when I was booking it. But there were certain attractions that you could book a time, kind of like a fast pass. You're booking it. Which day do you want to go on it and at what time? There was maybe 4 or 5 of those. There were other little coupons in there that would get you a fast pass to any attraction on those 2 days.
Okay.
So you had those in addition. There was a coupon that got me soda at any walk-up service, counter service. All the 4 days I was there, I just go up, show them that little ticket, and they gave me a Coke.
Nice.
Or what did I start drinking? Something that was like a soda iced tea. They have this soda iced tea there that I really like.
Like a special Japanese soda?
Yeah, something.
Okay.
It was good. There was a coupon for a free gift. I also received 3 dinners included, and I had to pick which restaurants I wanted. I'm a bit of a picky eater when it comes to foreign countries.
Yeah, I heard it
I'm
could be
not
a
a
little.
seafood person.
Yeah, it's tough in Japan.
So, but I booked an Italian restaurant one night. I booked a regular American restaurant in Tokyo Disneyland, and I booked a meal on. They have the ship, the SS American, over in Tokyo DisneySea, and I booked a dinner there. Oh, it also came with 2 or 3 each morning. I got breakfast at the Ambassador Hotel at Chef Mickey's kitchen. So I went in there, and when you go into the restaurant, you get a sign that'll say American or Western breakfast to the right and Japanese breakfast to the left.
Okay.
And so I like, okay, I'll go to the Western, and I recognized about half the stuff on the Western. I mean, I have had scrambled eggs. I could tell there was bacon there.
Okay.
And I thought, well, where do you cook it? Because it didn't look cooked, but evidently it had been boiled.
Oh,
And so you could eat the bacon, but it wasn't crispy. It was still,
that doesn't sound good at all.
I mean, it tasted okay.
Okay.
And then there was corn chowder on the Western breakfast buffet.
Okay.
So that was something different. But I did fine. I ate.
Did you walk over to the?
So I did a lot of their attractions. I did a lot of the Fantasyland. They have a Baymax ride in there.
How's that?
It was fun. That was it's kind of like the one we have where Maters
Okay.
swinging, whatever,
Yeah.
when they swing around. The attraction there is the cast members during the ride. Once they push the go button, they have to sing and dance and wave their people at you. It's more fun watching them.
Right. Right.
Of course, the Beauty and the Beast attraction was amazing. I went on the Winnie the Pooh ride. That was the very first Disney attraction to ever have the trackless cars,
Yeah.
is now in so many that I guess that was the very first one.
Wonderful.
That was fun. Of course, I loved Space Mountain. They had a big structure out in front of it saying Space Mountain, the final ignition, I think it was. And they had a little section to the left of it where you could go and sit in one of the cars and have your picture taken, right there set up.
Nice.
Yeah, that was fun.
Now,
one of the other things I remember is I took 2 suitcases, not because I needed to,
right.
but the popcorn buckets there are huge. So big that there is even a store that sells nothing but the popcorn buckets. And you can go in there and and I ended up bringing about 10 home. And so I had a separate suitcase, and I kind of used clothes to like wrap around them to get them home, because I had several requests from people at home that wanted the Peter Pan one, the Beauty and the Beast one, these that you can't get in America.
Right. Right.
So I did that. They had a little thing that you can use. You can buy, I think it was like the equivalent of like $6 or $7, and it was like tongs to eat your popcorn, so you don't have to touch the popcorn. You could pick it up with little tongs. And they have some very strange flavors of popcorn.
I've heard they have strange, and they have
popcorn.
tons of different ones.
Yes, lots of different ones. The roast beef one was kind of weird. That's the one I tried. But I mean, yeah, the hotel I stayed at, the Ambassador, was a beautiful hotel. Right next to it is a big mall, kind of like their downtown Disney or Disney Springs.
Okay.
It's called Ixapari or something like that. And it's on the monorail. They have a monorail that goes from all the hotels and to the 2 theme parks and the shopping center. So that was nice. The bus service from my hotel to both parks went right in. I mean, right up to the front. I was right up by the gate. So that was good.
David, tell me, do the Disney resorts there have the same kind of feel as the Disney resorts at Disneyland and Walt Disney World? Can you tell you're in a Disney resort when you're there?
I did, definitely. Okay. The Ambassador Hotel I stayed in, a beautiful lobby with a piano, and it was playing itself every time I was there, but I'm assuming at certain hours they would have a pianist come in and play.
Yeah.
But it was always playing Disney music. And the artwork, everything on the wall was totally Disney themed.
Okay. Now, we're talking about Tokyo Disneyland, but I know a lot of people always say Tokyo DisneySea, maybe the best themed park Disney has ever made. What are your thoughts on that? Have you thought the same thing?
I have to agree. I have to agree.
Okay.
It blew me away, because you go in there without, it's not the walk in and see the castle at the center and folk around it. you came in and there was a big globe spinning, and then you made a turn. And since it's called Tokyo DisneySea, instead of lands, they're all like water things, like ports and the American Bay and
Oh.
Fantasy Springs. It's all labeled water things. Um, some of the attractions, I'm like, okay, I'll check this out. And oh, this is Soarin', but it's not Soarin' over California, Soarin' over the world. It was Soarin' over there, you know.
Okay.
Um, and and then in the like I said, in the American side, they had the ship, the SS American, I think, and that's where they have their Tower of Terror. And right in the front, you look across and you see the giant volcano that erupts. And in that water, they had their kind of like their Phantasmic at night. Every night, there was a big show that went on with water and fireworks and lights. And I stayed to watch that show the first night I was there. That was fun. And again, I had tickets. I had a ticket, a fast pass ticket for the ride Journey to the Center of the Earth. And I didn't even realize I had it. So I went there and I waited in line about 40 minutes to ride it. And then when I was back to my room, I noticed I had one. So the next day I rode it without waiting in line. I used the fast pass ticket. They had just opened within a few months a new area called Fantasy Springs. And Fantasy Springs is like a land that has Frozen, Peter Pan, and Tangled. And each one has a ride or two. There's 2 Peter Pan rides. There's 1 Frozen ride. There's 1 Tangled Rapunzel ride, and different places to eat and all. So, and that was a big thing to get in. And my package let me not wait in line to get into the land.
Oh, wow.
And to fast pass onto all these attractions. So it was definitely worth it for that. And I didn't even know I got that.
Right.
I got in the regular line and somebody looked at me and pulled me. No, you have the wristband. You go over here.
Okay. So what was the
So that was fun.
what was your favorite ride at Fantasy Springs?
In Fantasy Springs, I probably liked the Peter Pan ride.
Okay.
The first Peter Pan ride, because there's 2. It was you're in Captain Hook boat and you're flying around chasing. It was a lot more than our Peter Pan ride.
Okay. Wonderful. How was communication at the park? How was the communication there? Like, did most people did they have signs in English? Did people speak English? Could you get where you needed to go without a problem?
Yeah, signs were both. And I had no problem asking people where to go, talking to any of the cast members. They were there to help me wherever I needed. Yeah, it was totally easy.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. What was the most bizarre, like, meal or food or snack or whatever you might have seen over there that you would never see in one of our parks domestically here?
Well, I guess my most bizarre meal was in the SS American restaurant. And they had to send, there was a I guess you'd say a bus person that spoke English.
Okay.
So the waiter that was waiting on me didn't, but I ended up talking to the bus person, and it was like this 6-course meal. And I'm like, okay, I'll try this. And I try that. And then they're going to bring me the fish course. And I'm like, no, I don't want the fish course. And that they ended up bringing it. And I go, no, take it away. I don't eat fish. That was weird. I couldn't do that.
Yeah, right.
That was weird. And some of the weird popcorn flavors would have been the weirdest thing.
How many different ones did you end up trying?
I think I tried 3. The roast beef one was the one I remember the most. And it wasn't bad. It's just a shock for that to be in popcorn.
Right. Do you notice any difference with the guest experience there? Were the guests different than maybe they are domestically? Everything the same?
There's a lot of younger people.
Okay.
A lot of younger people. I mean, I had heard that it was a lot of family groups, though, grandparents and parents and kids. And yes, there was some, but I just saw more like teenage 20s there. And especially the girls, and they had all the ears and they had all the things clamped onto their backpacks and everything. The Duffy is big there. Duffy the bear. And there's a whole section, I think it was in Tokyo DisneySea, where they had Duffy and Duffy's friends. And there's about 6 or 7 other animal friends there.
Wow. Wow. I know you talked about the popcorn buckets. How was was there a bigger or more interesting selection of merchandise?
Um, I wouldn't say there was a lot much different. They had the usual, trinkets, stuffed animals. That the one disappointment for me was the t-shirts did not come in my size.
Oh no. Oh no.
Mhm. Yeah, they don't get a lot of bigger people there. So
Well, they should have some. I mean, they have sumo wrestlers there, right?
I know. Yeah, exactly. I looked, but
Oh my. No, that's why they have Etsy, I guess, for that kind of thing.
yeah.
Oh,
But it was a great trip. Like I said, the air flight was easy getting from the airport there. And I'm always a little nervous my first time going by myself, but it was fine. I was able to figure out where I'm going.
well, you're a big traveler. You traveled all over. What is maybe some
Yeah.
tips you'd give to somebody they're going to take their first maybe major trip out of this country and decide to go to Tokyo Disneyland?
Um, Book as much as you can in advance. Like I did. I got my package, so everything was paid for. And when you're at home, you can look up the converter from dollars to yen a lot easier than maybe trying to do it on the fly when you're in a store or something. Um, I like I said, if you can sleep on a plane, it was no problem getting right from the airport, checking in, holding the bags, going into the hotel. I mean, going into the parks. That was great. I just like Walt Disney World, I think you should stay on property. I didn't
Good tip.
see other hotels or anything around. I mean, I went, the monorail took me to, I think, three hotels out by the bay. One was, I think, the Toy Story Hotel, and I forget the other two. And then, of course, the big Disneyland Hotel in the center. That was the priciest one. But no, this was great. It was, and I thought, well, I wished I would have then added a few extra days, maybe, and gone to see other parts of Japan.
Right, right,
That I didn't do because I was just coming off of an 11-day cruise to Alaska and I had
right,
other stuff, was busy.
right. Does that you have done a lot of flying? Would you recommend that somebody's maybe coming from the East Coast, maybe like stop at California, or just maybe take a flight, just get straight to Tokyo because that's going to be a really long flight.
Yikes. If you were, yeah, I mean, I guess there's a nonstop from the East Coast. That would be more like 17 hours or so.
It would have to be, yeah,
Um,
either from New York or Chicago, Atlanta.
yeah. Whatever you do, I would say look at the timing of your schedule, because you have the dateline, and it works for me to fly that way on a 12-hour flight nonstop at night, because I can make sure I'm tired when I get on the plane. I could take a NyQuil if I need to, you know. I was lucky that I was able to bump up to a business class seat, which they lie flat,
Oh, nice.
and they bring you a blanket and a pillow, and I could zonk out.
Right,
That was easy.
right.
Yeah. Um, I've done that to Australia and back. It's just so much easier. Last October I flew from China home. We have our airport here in town, Ontario International Airport, has some nonstop flights from Taiwan to Ontario now.
Wow.
It's new. They're working on getting more. Um, and so I was able to do that. And it was like 8 or 9 at night, China time. I took some NyQuil and I slept on the plane home.
When you flew over there, did you fly like I don't know what to call them, non-American airlines? I'm just curious, like a
I
foreign brand,
flew on
American Airlines?
I flew American Airlines over there. Yeah.
Okay, I just wonder because sometimes they say it's, if you can take Korea Air, it's fantastic, or, any of the other foreign carriers, or sometimes have great first class options.
I flew on Japan Airlines, but not to Tokyo.
Okay.
And I've flown on China Airlines, but yeah, I'm not adverse to taking some of those other airlines. I'd love to give them a try.
Yeah.
It's just that when you've been flying American all my life, mainly, and I have the frequent flyer miles to use for those things.
Right, right, right.
Now, they have a code share or something, I forget what they call it, that you can use your frequent flyer miles from an American carrier for some of the others.
Okay.
That's how I ended up on Royal Jordanian Airlines last fall.
I caught an eye roll in there.
I never would have picked that. Yeah, I never would have picked it.
It wouldn't show up in your normal searches. So you're over there for, you said you were in Tokyo for 4 days?
I was at Tokyo for 4 days. Yeah, I was there actually 5. Came home on the 5th day.
Okay.
But yeah, I stayed 4 nights at the Disneyland Ambassador Hotel.
Now, did that give you enough time to see everything you wanted to see? Would you wish you had more space, more time?
For me, I could being one person by myself, so I could go and do what I wanted when I wanted. It was great. If you're with a family, you may need an extra day or so.
Okay.
Because you're different people having to take breaks at different times, and people may not all be ready to go in the morning or ready to go at home at night. Single traveling, it was fine.
Wonderful. What is something there you didn't even know about that when you got there, you're like, this is fantastic?
Good Lord.
What surprised you the most?
Well, I think Tokyo DisneySea was a huge surprise. Like you, I'd heard what people said, but every other place I'd never, not experienced anything like that. And the giant volcano in the when you first make a turn and go see that blew me away. The Indiana Jones ride, if I remember right, it was like a roller coaster with 2 cars. But I'm trying to think if there's anything really blew me away, and I can't think of anything right now.
Okay. Sometimes it's tough. When you do a lot of the homework on something, you're pretty much well prepared.
Yes. Right.
All right. Well, sounds like you had a great time. But before we wrap, I have one final question here for you.
Okay.
If one of our listeners, so they're thinking about going to Tokyo Disneyland, is it worth the effort and expense, do you think, for someone that's already a Disney fan because they're listening to the show to make the trip to Tokyo Disneyland?
Absolutely.
There we go.
I would say now, if you're a big Spaceman fan, you might need to wait another year, because the reason they tore down Space Mountain is they're building a new one, but they said it would be 3 years.
Right.
So I will definitely want to go back sometime and go on the new Space Mountain.
Gotcha. So we can look forward to another report in at least a couple years of Tokyo.
Exactly. And I'll be honest, right now, my mind is Hong Kong, because that's the next Disney park I have not been to, and I need to get there.
Did you go to Shanghai?
Nope, never been to Shanghai. That'll be last.
That'll be last. Okay.
That'll be my next one after that. But right now, my mind's set on going to Hong Kong. I've never been to Hong Kong. I've been to Taiwan, which is kind of China, but I want to go to Hong Kong and see that. I'm told that you can spend 1 day there, but I think I would at least book 2.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just because.
Yeah. If you miss something or something's closed when you're there on that day for reefer, maybe it'll be open the next day or whatever.
You might want to try more foods than you can possibly eat in 1 day also. So make it an event.
Yeah, exactly. That's what makes Epcot, you always have to go there many times.
And when you think you got it down, they change all the menus.
Oh, yeah. That's okay.
That's perfect, though. David, thanks so much for joining us on the show.
Absolutely. Of course.
This was great. David, anybody has any questions for you about this, where can somebody reach out to you? Is like the Looper Nation Live group the best? Okay.
Obviously. That's about the only, I don't do the Instagram or any of those things, but I'm on Facebook,
Okay, awesome. I'll tell you what, I think you're in Looper Nation Live, aren't you? We'll put you.
Yes.
So
yes.
That's where they will find you. I love it.
Okay, cool.
Excellent. Everybody, I'm Tim Scott. Thank you so much, David Poole, for joining us to share his adventures in Tokyo Disneyland. Everybody, you've been listening to The Gateway to the Magic. Do you know how to end the show, David?
Yes.
Do it.
See ya, everybody.
I knew it. I knew you'd know it.